So remember the elephant garlic? Well, this happened. And it just basically rotted out. This one, oh, it was attached yesterday. I guess it's rotted out as well. So that's it for that. I'm going to toss that. And then maybe plant up something else. So I've brought the pepper seedlings, they're doing so much better, out from under the grow lights. And I moved the Roma tomato seedlings in underneath the grow lights. And these guys are out here in front of my sun lamp. Here's some cucumber seedlings. One's putting on its true leaves. Oh, there's another one there putting on its true leaves. Another one here. So they're doing well. They're actually, the transplants are doing fine. So it looks like you can do with cucumbers the same that you can do with tomatoes, which is bury them up to their leaves and then they'll sprout for you. Well, I hope this goes well. These are my garden tasks. I just sat down and I basically kind of did a rough sketch of what I wanted to do. Things are going to get really busy here in the next little while. So I've got my garden tasks. First thing that I put down. Now, these aren't going to be happening in this order, but these are the major like construction, physical labor type tasks that we have to get done. We've got to construct hoop and net covers for our brassicas and tomatoes and cukes. Once the tomatoes and cukes have set fruit, I want to protect them from the cabbage fly moth and the cabbage butterfly / moth. And the cukes I want to protect from hornworms. I believe that's the swallowtail moth. And because last year, I've never had hornworms before, and last year we had a couple on our plants. So I do not want that happening again because they're pretty freaky looking. And my husband had to be the one to go and get rid of them for me, so get them off the plants. So anyways, this is what they'll be constructed out of, some sort of black tubing. We need at least 6 foot per arm. So each one of these little hoop things you see is an arm. This down here is the soil level, and then the projections are bamboo. So yeah, bamboo zip ties to zip the bamboo across the top of each arc or arm to support the netting. And then we need the netting. I have some netting, and if I need more, I'll just get netting or, bridal tulle or something like that, whatever's cheapest that I can find locally. Then we have to construct a hoop house from scratch, basically. Again, another thing from scratch. We have the cattle panel. We need greenhouse plastic, rebar, and 2x4s for that. The next thing is to dig over the rows and cover the rows with weed cloth so that nothing starts to grow until we plant in. And number 4, a part of number 3 is to move the blackberry. I have a blackberry that's growing where we're going to be putting in our vegetables. So I need to move that into the new berry hedge / patch. And this is an overview of what our garden's going to look like. So I first thought we could go this way, right? But then I remembered, oh, I've already planted asparagus. I have an asparagus patch here in front of the peach tree. And I'm going to extend that and have more down here. And asparagus do not like to be transplanted, so I don't want to risk moving them. So what I'm going to do is we're going to continue with the way we have been planting, which is between the apple and pear, go in a straight line this way. So we're going to keep doing that. And then when we get to the end of that bit, from the pears, we're going to go change direction. So this is our north-south. And then we're going to go east-west rows, like that. All the way down, this is a Scotch pine, that's a Scotch pine. I'm just marking them so that, I don't forget that those are there. This is where we had our old chicken run. And that's where I'm going to have the berry patch, or up against the back of the old chicken coop there. And so that's that, and it wraps around the side because we already have some wild, black cap raspberries growing here already in this area. So that'll be easy to just, make everything blend into one big hedge hedgerow, I guess, and keep it tidy. So all this, if we don't use this for garden, this will just be mowed back every year, and our chickens can get the benefit of the grass. Yeah. Now, something that I also have to do is I have to create a flower bed for our dog. We had to put her to sleep last week, and I'm going to create a flower bed for her right over her grave. So right now, all it is the rectangle of dirt. We have a little rock here. We have a few rocks piled here to mark it, and then a couple of sticks because actually it's firewood, but the thin pieces of firewood, kindling, and she loved to chew on that. So I have that there right now. What I'm gonna put in is a rose bush. I'd like to put in a standard sized rose bush, like a 3 foot, like a landscape rose, something that gets to about 3 foot tall, maybe 4 feet. Rose bush. So the sun comes from over this way. Like the sun is, this is west, this is east, this area is north, and that's south up there. So it gets full sun. So I want the rose bush to take advantage of that, the full sun. But the impatiens that I'm going to put in require shade. Shade to part shade, part sun, right? But not full sun. So my intention is that the rose bush will take most of the sun. It will provide shade for the impatiens. And then I'm planting bear grass here at the back. It's a slightly taller plant for architectural interest. But the reason I chose these two is because impatiens, one of the common name is Busy Lizzie. And that was her name, Lizzie. And she was always busy. And bear grass is in honor of the dog that we still have. His name is Bear. And she and him, just definite brother and sister, and in their relationship. So I want him to be with her. And eventually when he goes, we'll put him here and we'll have the same, we'll just extend it in patience and bear grass, and they'll always be together. So I didn't want to get emotional about it, but just thinking about losing her and then having to lose him one day, probably in 5 or 6, 7 years, because he's a very large breed and they don't live as long. Yeah, it can be upsetting, but that's the plan. Okay, I'll see you in the next one. So I let this big galoot out. I let him out and he came running around the house, and then came up to the van, and he's looking for his sister. He's looking for Lizzie. Hey, Bear? Yeah. This is the last place he saw her, and he can still smell her, so I didn't see him at first, so I think he ran up this way, and she's actually buried right there. So I don't know if he went to her grave and then came up, or if I distracted him and he kind of shortcutted and came up this way. So, all right, come puppy. Baby, you can't lay, oh. Barry, you can't lay there. Hey? Oh, sweetie. I'm so sorry. Yeah, but you can't. He's looking at me like, what do you mean I can't? You want to come inside? You want me to close the door? Okay. All right, I'll close the door. He's looking up at the, okay, I'm going to go get Daddy, okay? Got to get my husband to see if we can get him out of the trunk. Oh, this boy. Oh. Yeah, so he's feeling it too. Oh, my goodness. All right. I'll be back if we get him out of the trunk. It might be a fiasco. All right, so it's about 5 minutes later. Hi. Hi. Hey. Hi, you ready to come out? Huh? Yeah? Okay, Dad's gone to get the leash to make sure you don't hop out and run away. So yeah, we're gonna do that. I'm gonna have to shut this off in a sec when he comes back out in order to help in what meaningless way I can, because I'm not fast, and I'm not strong. So, and this guy, he is over 120 pounds. He's like probably 130. All right.